My dear sewing friends, welcome to my channel, Divine Fola Stitches. I'm Fola. On this channel, I upload well-detailed sewing tutorial videos every week. Why don't you subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you get notified each time I upload a new video. This tutorial will be on how to take accurate body measurements, and Dora the mannequin will be my model for today. Let's get started. As you can see, I already taped some parts of her body. This is the bust area. This is the under bust. This is the waist area, and this is the hip area. So I will start with her shoulder measurements. I'll turn her back to you so you can see how I take the shoulder measurements. So you put your tape measure from one point of the shoulder to the other across the back. Your tape measure has to go across the back. Can you see? Our shoulder measurement is 13 inches. So I'll turn her and take the vertical measurement. That is the measurement that run from the nape of the neck along the body. I will start with the bust point measurements. And also, an important thing you have to note is that your tape measure should be at the nape of the neck. As you can see, the human shoulder is sloping. So your tape measure should be at the highest point of the shoulder, not at the lowest point. If you put your tape measure at this point, you won't get an accurate measurement. So your tape measure has to be at the nape of the neck, the highest point of the shoulder. And I'll take our bust point measurement. Also, most importantly, when you are taking your vertical measurements, your tape measure should run along the fullest part of the boobs. So I'll take a bust point, which is the point where I have the tape round our boobs, which is 9.5 inches. I'll take our under bust point, our waist point. And how do you get the true waist of the body? You can just bend over like this. The part that goes inner the most is the true waist. Can you see? This is my own true waist. So our waist point measurement is this, 16.5 inches, while this is our hip point. As you can see, my tape still runs along the fullest part of the boobs, not this way, the fullest part of the boobs, while I take the vertical measurements. And when you are taking your blouse or top length, it depends on preference. So you have to ask who you are taking a measurement to know a preference. So it could be some want their top to be their hip point length, and some want it longer, some might even want it shorter than that. So it depends on preference. Likewise, when you are taking a gown measurement, it can be a mini gown, a knee length gown, or a floor length gown. So it depends on preference. Now I will go to the horizontal measurements. That is the measurements that run across the body. I will start with our bust circumference measurements. And note, when you are taking the circumference, the bust circumference, or the horizontal measurement generally, especially for the bust and the hip, it has to be on the fullest part. It has to be on the fullest part of the bust and the fullest part of the hips. That is how you can get an accurate measurement. Now, our bust measurement is 34 inches. I have my index finger this is my index finger in between the tape and our body. My index finger is in between the tape and our body. Can you see? Yes. And when you are taking your measurements, I will turn that back to you because I have something to show you. Your tape measure shouldn't be slanting at the back. Can you see? You don't want to have your tape like this behind. You won't get an accurate bust measurement in this manner. So it has to be across the fullest part, straight up across the fullest part of the bust. Can you see? So this is how to get an accurate bust circumference measurement. So let's go to the other horizontal measurement. You might need to take your under bust measurements. You also take your tape round it and take the measurements, not forgetting your index finger in between the tape and the body and your thumb holding it. Can you see? So this is the under bust measurement. Then going to the waist measurement, I already showed you how to get your true waist. So this is the waist measurement, the waist circumference measurement. Then the hip measurement. Your tape measure has to also run across the fullest part of the butt. The fullest part of the butt. So this is the hip measurement. Now another important measurement is the bust span. The bust span. And the bust span helps in your dart location. Yes, that is the essence of taking the bust span measurement. It's the measurement from one nipple point to another. Some people call it nipple to nipple. So bust span measurements from one nipple point to the other. Our bust span measurement is 6 inches. So it varies. You have to take the bust span measurements of who you are drafting and how it fits for. Now let's go to the sleeve measurements. Taking the sleeve measurements now, I'll start with the length. So when you want to take your sleeve length, you put your tape measure at this point and measure to any length of your choice. It could be a short sleeve between 6 to 8 inches or 9 inches. It could be elbow length, or it could be a long sleeve length. And some people take the armhole measurements. I don't take the armhole measurements because I have a formula I use to achieve a perfect armhole, which I will let you know in the course of the tutorials. So as you can see, when you are taking the armhole measurement, you should not make it too tight or too loose. I think I'll take it this way. So our armhole measurement is 15 inches. Can you see? Now let's go to the round sleeve. So your round sleeve also goes across the arm. It also depends on the length of your sleeve. If you are drafting a short sleeve, your round sleeve will be taken at this point where your short sleeve length reaches. So this is a round sleeve for a short sleeve length, and also the elbow length. You can see the elbow round sleeve and the long sleeve length. So note, when you are taking your round sleeve at this point, you have to put the fingers in consideration. So measure it in a way that the opening can pass through the fingers. So guys, we've come to the end of today's tutorial. If this tutorial has been helpful, don't forget to like, share and comment down below. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.